What's up, folks? It's your guy, Spiderzilla28, aka your mom's favorite bedroom toy. Back at it again with another episode of Kaiju Controversy. So, what are we going to be chatting about today? Well, we're going to be talking, I'm glad you asked, we're going to be talking about the Monsterverse, right? However, we're not going to be focusing so much attention on this guy. Instead, we're going to be acknowledging the species of this guy. Now, whoa, hold on. Hey, whoa, before the G fans reach through the freaking camera and try to choke me out. Hear me out, all right? So we can all acknowledge and recognize that the Monsterverse is a healthy, thriving IP right now, right? It's arguably better than DC. And it's approaching, it's not neck and neck, but it's approaching the level of MCU status, in my opinion. Approaching there. It's, you know, it's still got some work to do, but it's approaching that level of status, right? It's a likable IP. So here's the thing. Who or what is exactly responsible for this? Is it the fantastic, phenomenal writing? No, I wouldn't argue that. Is it solely thanks to this guy? I mean, he contributes to it. I'm sure there's the cool wow factor, but it's not solely on him. It's thanks to the species of this guy. Okay? Now, hear me out. Bear with me. I know hardcore toxic G fans, just bear with it. Bear, just grin and bear, okay? I'm sure after this video, however, if you're a reasonable person, you'll come to a better understanding as to why the Monsterverse needs to not only appreciate the great apes more, but utilize them more. All right, so let's really dissect and analyze this real quick. All right, let's analyze this. All right, so why is this guy so hateable? Well, he's lanky. He looks like a cross between an orangutan and a chimpanzee. He's got this swagger that basically is reminiscent of a certain Walking Dead character. You know, Negan.
Dun, 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 dun. Little pig, let me in.
Yo, oh yeah, and he's got orange reddish fur. Oh, so help me God, orange reddish fur. Yo, honestly, but yo, I don't know. These traits work for me, man. Low key, Scar King is one of my, honestly, one of, if not my favorite Monsterverse villains. Not even gonna lie. Oh yeah, and yo, let's mention another kick-ass character trait of this guy, right? He enslaved a benevolent ice dragon and forced her to be a raging beast of destruction by wielding a crystal that inflicts constant agonizing pain. Yo, this is a fucking, honestly, this is Frieza level of type of villainy right here. Yo, and I love it. It's awesome. You know, I don't know why so many, back before this movie was even released, so many people were just shitting all over, just shitting, taking metaphorical diarrhea triceratops shits in the comments, just roasting this character. Oh my gosh, I would have preferred Space Godzilla. I would have preferred Destroyer. Yo, gosh, yo, the G fans are our own worst enemy, bro. I swear. You know, and bringing up Space Godzilla and Destroyer. All right, so hear me out. I'm not against the idea of utilizing these guys. I'm really not against that at all. But there are, okay, I'm a realist, all right? I'm just going to tell you, I'm a realist, okay? You got to address these two things first. When it pertains to the general audience, how marketable are they? Number two, is Legendary willing to invest any more hard earned cash into any more Toho kaiju? Okay. So we have to understand that when it pertains to like these legendary films, they're trying to keep that budget small. Okay. That way they can just, when they release their movie, they can just receive a nice profit, just receive a nice, modest, pretty handsome profit of like 500 to 600 mil. You feel me? On a budget of 200, I don't know, 200 mil. I don't know. And they're trying to like obviously work with a pattern that works. So you guys have to understand that like when they apply for like the rights to these Toho kaiju, like Mothra or like Mecha Godzilla, Ghidorah, or like if they were to ever hypothetically use like Gorosaurus or Titanosaurus, like that cost money, my guy. That costs money, and folks, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Kaiju fans have to remember that this is still a very niche, sensitive genre that needs oodles and oodles of like TLC, oodles and oodles of like just delicate care, So we don't want to like get ahead of ourselves. We really don't. Like overspending when it's not necessary isn't always the brightest business move. It's not. And again, we also have to consider the general audience, whether we want to like admit it or not. The general audience matters. Why? Because they help with these ticket sales. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire made a lot of money because it's a good, decent movie, but a lot of that was thanks to the general audience. Like this movie has all the necessary flavors and recipes that the general audience liked. And we need to understand that like, the kaiju community just really needs to come to terms with the fact that we need the general audience's money if we want this IP to like thrive and have a, healthy lifespan. We need their ticket sales. I don't know what to tell you. And we also need to like just come to terms and like just accept that for whatever reason, and again, it pains me to say this, but for whatever reason, the general audience really likes and appreciates movies that feature big apes for whatever reason. You don't believe me? Look at any King Kong movie ever. Okay, well, not that one. Not so much King Kong Lives. That's, but yeah. So it's pretty obvious that big monkeys make big money, and since big monkeys make big money, if we want the Monsterverse to succeed and to continue to succeed, keep continuing to succeed, we need to keep making more movies that include the big monkeys. You feel me? Also, the following element that I'm actually about to like address right now, general audiences, they like to, this doesn't just pertain to like the Monsterverse, it pertains to any superhero movie out there, the general audience, they like to connect with, even if like the movie is like totally absurd and is like the definition of like a fiction film, right? It's even if it's totally fictional, they like to connect with the character. And while I love Godzilla, right? He's awesome, but the majority of like his communication skills basically consist of aggressive stare downs, roaring, and oh yeah, of course, violence. And that's cool, right? It's cool, but when you compare that to the communication skills of like the Ape Titans, who they laugh, they make gestures, it's just, I don't know, it just speaks more smoothly to the general audience member. And I feel like that's also what helped Godzilla X Kong, in my opinion. And I know it sucks to say all of this. I already know somebody in the fucking comments is gonna like, just fucking roast me asunder and basically threaten to like take away my, you know, my Godzilla fan card and or whatever. But I'm a realist. I've always been a realist, and I, I don't like. I just want one of my favorite franchises to continue to make films. I want them to continue to like keep doing what works. And I want more people to like recognize what works for this franchise. And what works is really pretty obvious to me what works. So when you have like a character like Scar King, being depicted as like a abusive father who's like yelling at his son in an abusive manner, is going to basically speak a lot more smoothly than if you had characters like Destroyer or Space Godzilla doing it. And that's the thing, right? Like that's folks, this is why they can't just invest in like these monsters that first of all, they're not marketable to now. Maybe Destroyer, maybe, but something as random as like Space Godzilla, that's not going to be marketable towards the general audience. And then like if you had him doing like relatable traits, like I don't like that's not. It's not gonna communicate and or translate well on film. It's not. It's definitely not gonna like translate well with the general audience member. It's not. And so that's why they keep utilizing these ape characters, because like, it's important for, you know, the general audience member to connect. Because if they connect, then, they're gonna like obviously give a shit about these movies. If they keep giving a shit about these movies, then they're gonna like keep tossing their cash towards the movie. Once they keep tossing their cash to the movie, then we get green lighted for another sequel, and then the Monsterverse thrives. It's really that simple. And yeah, just having an ape as like a big ape as a villain just works well. I don't know. It's just really, it translates way like far better to the general audience as opposed to like having something random like Gorosaurus or Titanosaurus or like Space Godzilla. Like, fans, they're wanting all these characters to show up, and that's fine, But if we're talking like if we're talking about like a mainstream like blockbuster film, no, like our best bet is like something original. Our best bet is something that connects well with the general audience. You feel me? Scar King, I'm sure there's like plenty of people who hated him for all the right reasons. You feel me? Like, and plus he just had everything like right with him when it comes to like a character that you love to hate. He had the arrogance, he had the swagger, he had the brutality, he was sadistic. Like everything just worked about Scar King. And so, oh, but not to mention, like, he was just I find it far more believable that an overgrown ape can somehow figure out how to control a giant ice dragon. That adds a layer of believability. And people, believe it or not, people actually, even when it pertains to sci-fi films, people actually appreciate that layer of believability. Plus, I don't know about y'all, but like the thought of a 300-foot tall ape with the ability to think critically coming ashore is far more terrifying than like Ghidorah the three-headed dragon, in my opinion. That's far more terrifying because we're talking about a kaiju with like the ability to think critically. That's pretty damn scary, in my opinion. So there you have it, folks. That is why I do in fact believe that the Great Ape Titans, they not only do they deserve recognition, but they need some TLC here. They need to be appreciated, honestly, because like, like, arguably speaking, as you could tell, like from the video, these guys probably saved the Monsterverse. Not, like, need I remind you, Godzilla 2, for whatever reason, whatever, however you want to slice it, Godzilla 2 did not, Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019 did not receive the best reviews at all. In fact, like, some would argue that that movie flopped when it came out in theaters. That's my personal favorite Monsterverse film, but I'm willing to acknowledge that people were like just shitting all over it. No, like, nobody really gave a shit about the Monsterverse until like the Great Ape Titans were like featured more, and we gotta, like, as G fans, like, like, just stop being so fucking toxic, like, folks. I don't understand. Like, if you see the latest Monsterverse game being advertised on like Instagram or like whatever social media you use, like, don't just leave a fucking shitty ass pointless comment like, oh my god, this sucks, where's Godzilla, this sucks, or where's Godzilla, oh my god, we need more Godzilla. Like, bro, I can only imagine, like, when when Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 comes out and drops, you guys are gonna shit all over that, bro, just because our beloved giant reptile isn't in there. And I get it, Godzilla's awesome, I get it, but how is leaving a nasty comment how is that gonna, like, be a progressive moment for the Monsterverse? Like, how is that gonna help us progress? You do realize the developers are seeing these comments, right? Holy cow. But anyway, yeah, that has, of course, been my video. I hope you guys appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. I have to actually get used to saying like, share, and subscribe now that I'm a YouTuber, I guess. But hey, and shout out to my editor, Lou. Go follow my man's Lou. He appreciates all the support. And until the next video, be safe, be healthy, and be productive.